Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm recreating Flappy Bird in Godot. The goal is one day, one playable game. But instead of explaining code like a boring tutorial, I'm using terrible paint drawings because code is scary. First, I created a new Godot project. I named it Flappy Dino Z. The Z is there for no gameplay reason. I'm just a DBZ fan. And here we are. So I created the controls. For now, the only important one is jump. Spacebar, mouse click, whatever. The player needs one job. Go up and somehow not die. Then, before touching any code, I made a clean folder structure. Because if I don't organize this now, in 2 hours the project will look like a crime scene. Sprites go in assets, scenes go in scenes, scripts go in scripts, and my mental stability goes somewhere else. Now I created the player scene. The root node is a character body 2D, which is perfect for a character that moves and collides with stuff. Basically, Godot handled the boring movement math, and I just tell the little guy when to fall and when to panic jump. Inside the player, I added two things. First, a visual node so we can actually see the character. And second, a collision shape 2D so the game knows when the player gets absolutely destroyed. Next, I added a visual. For now, I'm using the Godot icon, just so we can actually see the player on screen. Then I added a collision shape. This little circle is basically the player's hitbox. If it touches an obstacle, we die. Next, I created the main scene. This is where everything will live. The background, the player, the obstacles, the UI, and all the suffering. I split the main scene into layers. Background layer for the pretty stuff, gameplay layer for the dangerous stuff, UI layer for the scoring menu. This way the project stays clean, and future me doesn't hate present me. Then I added the player inside the gameplay layer. I placed him on the left side of the screen because this is Flappy Bird logic. The player stays here, and the whole world comes flying at his face. Now it's time to make the player actually move. So I attached a script to the player node. This script has one mission: make the player fall, jump, and not break reality. I wrote a small player script. And don't worry, I'm not going to explain every line of code because nobody wants to suffer. So here's the whole script in caveman language. Gravity pulls the layer down, jump force sends him back up, and max fall speed stops him from falling like he just got punched through a mountain. That's basically the entire movement system. So let's go back to Godot. I will save, I will go back to my main, and now we see the player here. We will try it out, and nothing here. Okay, so maybe the game is working, but the camera is looking at absolutely nothing. Very useful. It's time to add a camera 2D. So I added a camera 2D, moved it to the center of the screen, and placed the player inside the camera view. Let's try it again. Okay, now we can see the player. And he's falling. Good. Now I press jump and nothing. Amazing. So I forgot to add the key to my jump button. So I went into the input map, added the space to the jump action, tried again, and now he jumps. Which means we officially have a gameplay. Bad gameplay, but gameplay. Now that the player can jump, I need something to ruin his day. So I created an obstacle scene. Nothing moves yet, nothing looks good yet. For now, I'm just setting up the structure. Top obstacle, bottom obstacle, and a score area in the middle. Basically, I'm building the trap before making it dangerous. At this point, the game worked, but it still looked horrible. So I needed assets. I wanted the dinosaur. I downloaded this. This is not a dinosaur, this is clearly a bird. But at this point, I had already named the game Flappy Dino Z, so congratulations, little bird, you are now legally a dinosaur. Then I imported the bird into Godot and replaced the placeholder icon. I gave him two animations, flying normally and panicking when I press jump. That's enough acting for a Flappy Bird clone. I tried to build the pipe scene using the full pipe sprite, but then I realized that wasn't going to work. So I had to cut them. one pipe on top, one pipe on the bottom, and a gap in the middle. Then I started writing the pipe script. The idea is simple. The player doesn't move forward. The pipes move left, so every frame I move the whole pipe scene to the left. And once the pipes leave the screen, I delete them. Because invisible pipes still existing forever is probably bad for everyone. So basically the bird is not really flying forward, the world is just moving into his face. At this point, the game looked a little weird. The screen was too big, the bird was tiny, and the pipes looked lost in space. So I changed the game to a vertical resolution like the original Flappy Bird. Then I scaled up the sprites, and suddenly it started to look way more like an actual game. After all of that, the game still looked pretty empty. Just a bird, some pipes, and a very depressing grey background. So I imported a couple of backgrounds and tested which one looked better. After a few tries, I picked this one, and now the game finally looks a bit more alive. Now the pipes are moving, but they still weren't dangerous. The bird could touch them and nothing happened, so I added a collision check. Basically, every frame, the game asks one simple question: is the player touching a pipe? If the answer is yes, game over. Then I realized there was no floor, which is a small problem because when the bird falls, he just disappears forever. So I created a new floor scene, imported the floor sprite, added a collision shape and placed it in the main scene. Now the bird can finally hit the ground. The next problem was the pipes. Using one full pipe sprite was okay for a basic test, but I needed more control. So I changed each pipe into two sprites, a cap and a body. The cap stays near the gap and the body stretches outside of the screen. That way the pipes can look longer without me needing 100 different pipe sprites. Then I added a spawner. Instead of placing one pipe pair by hand, the spawner creates new pipes automatically. Every few seconds, it spawns a pipe pair on the right side of the screen. Then it gives a random height, so the gap is now always in the same place. Basically, it throws pipes at the bird and hopes for the worst. Of course, the first version was completely broken. The pipes became giant blue walls and almost covered the whole screen. Very playable. So I fixed the pipe setup, adjusted the cap and body positions, changed the pipe height and corrected the scaling. After a few tries, the pipes finally look like an actual obstacle. Okay, this looks really decent. Now that the game can kill the bird, I need to reward him when he actually does something. So I started setting up the score system. I added a score manager to keep track of the points, then I added a score label on UI so the player can actually see the score. And since every pipe already has a hidden score area in the middle, I can use that to know when the bird passes through the gap. After the score, I needed a proper game over screen, because printing game over in the console is not exactly player friendly. So I added a game over panel inside the UI. Then I added a dark background behind it, so the text is easy to read. And when the bird dies, the panel appears with game over and press R to restart. Simple, but now it actually feels like a real game over. Finally, I added a title screen, because before that, the game started immediately. No menu, no warning, just instant bird. So I added a simple title panel with the name of the game and press space to start. Now the game waits for the player before everything starts moving. After that, at this point the game is finally playable. The bird can jump, the pipes spawn, the score works, the game over screen appears, and I can restart the game. So the base is done, but it still needs polish. The movement can feel better, the UI can look cleaner, and I still want to add sounds and a few small details before calling it finished. And that's it. In one day, I recreated a small Flappy Bird style game in Godot. It has jumping pipes, score, game over, restart, and a very confused bear pretending to be a dinosaur. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Godot challenge like this, subscribe. Now I'm going to stop talking and let you try the game yourself.